Hello everybody, Jack Dangerous here with another music tutorial. I know I haven't done this in a couple of years. And by a couple of years I mean since probably late 2016. But, this year I decided I'd do another one. It's probably been like 3 years since the last one I did, but figured I'd teach you guys a new song. And if you can tell by the opening part, it's Mission Impossible. So this is a pretty easy song, once you learn how to play it fast. The beginning part that goes like this is probably the hardest part. And that's only because of how fast you have to move these two fingers. You have to really work out these two fingers at the beginning. But other than that, I'd say that this should be a really good beginner song. Start by playing it slow. That's what you have to do with every single song. You have to start out as slow as possible. So start out like this. Instead of trying to go. Because then, if you try and go, it's going to sound like this. And you don't want that. Anyways, without further ado, let's get right into the video. So, now, to start off with that part I just showed you right at the intro. So, this part, that's the hardest part of the song. This right here is the hardest part. So, it's basically D, it's then D, D sharp, or E flat, whichever one you want to call it. It goes D, E flat, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up to G. So you do this 4 times. D, D sharp or E flat. So it's and then once you put it together, it sounds like this. Or you could start with E flat like I do, and you could go, and then you could start the. You could also extend it like I do, but you don't have to. The normal amount that you'd want to do is like 5. Maybe 6, actually. And that's the beginning of the song all laid out. This is the hard part, actually. This is the hardest that you're going to have to do in the song with trying to play fast. So if you're bad at playing fast, this is the part you want to practice the most, and it'll make the rest of the song an easy ride for you. So now, once you're done this part, you want to move down the keyboard to here. And this is the part of the song that's going to be the basis for most of it. This is going to be the part that you're going to need for most of the song. Now, I'd recommend trying to learn this, like, after, because this is the chorus part. So, it goes a little something like this. That's all. I know it may seem difficult, but once you figure it out, it's literally just what I did here repeated over here. So I'll show you how to do this part. I might show you it closer to the camera, or I might show you it farther away. I'll show you both. So, well, we'll start off closer to the camera so then you can get an idea. It's basically the same as here because every 7 white keys, it repeats. So you have 7 different white keys. So from here to here is the same as from here to here. So really, all you have to learn is the section right here, and you can move this all the way down the keyboard. Once you learn how to play this section of the keyboard, you can learn how to play the whole thing, because it's just little sections of this repeated. So anyways, I'll show you how to play this closer to here, because this is the part you're going to want to repeat. So it goes like this. That's the part. That's all it is. It goes G, G, B flat, C, and then it goes G, G, F, F sharp. Do you want? I'll go slower. It goes G, G, B flat, C, G, G, F, F sharp. And then you speed it up as you go along. You can start off by going like... And then you can speed it up. So all I'm doing when I do this part, if I can move the camera, there we go. When I start on this part, it's literally the same thing as I just showed you, except it's a section up. Instead of playing in the first section of keys, now you're playing in the second. That's the only difference between the part I played here and the part I played here. The notes were all the same except for... which that's all just G. You're just going G, 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 G. That's all you're doing there. So that's just a transition, so then afterwards, you can go into the next part of the song. So, now I'll just play for you everything I showed you so far, so then you can get a hint at where we are. So I already started off by teaching you from here. Now this is the part I'm going to have to teach you guys for this. So now, we have this part. So I'm going to just teach you guys this part, and then I'll move on to what we do after that. Because this is one of the harder parts. It's kind of in between. This one's the hardest note-wise, because this part of the song, from here on out, is all different until we're back to the chorus. So I'll show you it a piece at a time. So this one, it's just this, which is D sharp, G, D, D sharp, oh wait, I'm sorry, A sharp, my bad, that was my bad, it's A sharp, A sharp, G, and then it's D. That's all it is. And then, the part after this, it's all the same. It's A sharp, G, except now you go to D flat. And then it's just, you put it together and it's... So it's literally A sharp, G, D, A sharp, G, and then it's C sharp or D flat. And then after this, once you do the A flat, G, C sharp, you just move one down from there. So all it is it's literally you're moving one key each time you do it. This is all you're changing for this part. You're going A sharp, G, D, A sharp, G, C sharp, A sharp, G, and then C. And then you just, if you want to add this in, you don't have to. It just makes it sound a lot better. You can go to, I believe it's, I'm sorry, I normally don't read the keys. The other A sharp. And then you just go back and forth between A sharp and C. So here's what I've taught you of this section. That's all I've taught you. Now we can move on to the next section, which is a little bit more difficult, but you'll see it kind of follows the same lines of what I've just showed you. So now, I've showed you all the way up to now, what comes after this? This is the part that's also the more difficult. This is kind of a continuation of this part. It's all the same part, but I figured I'd show you the easiest part first. So now, it's lower on the keys. One set lower than what I was showing you with. So now it's going to be A sharp, and then it's going to be G. And now it's a little weird because you're going up a whole set to F sharp. So now it's A sharp, G, F sharp. Which seems a little weird, I know, because it seems like up until that point it's pretty much. But no, you only start off with these same two notes. And you're doing an F sharp now. And then, after this, after you do a couple times, you move down one key to F. So, it ends up being like this. This you're going to have to want to use both hands for. Normally, I don't teach you both hands at the same time, but as you're doing this key or this key, you're going to want to hold down G the entire time until it goes silent. So you're going to want to hold it, and then F sharp, and then you're going to want to hit F. Sorry, my bad. And then you want to hit E. I haven't showed you the E one yet, but it's pretty much that. So now we're up to. Now what's after this part? Well, this is a little different than the previous part because now, instead of we're going, and after that, you go E flat, D. This is the weirder part of the song because now you're going A sharp, G, and then you're going to F sharp, and then you're going A sharp, G, F, and then you're going A sharp, G, E, and now you have to deal with E flat, D. So, when you put this part together, I'm only showing you the middle section because I don't have to show you the beginning section again because we've gone over that a couple times. Now, what you get when you put those two together for this middle section is or I like to switch hands like this. You don't have to cross hands over like this. If it's easier for you to play it the way I just did it, then go ahead. But for me, personally, it's more easy to do it like this. Obviously without the mess up, but that's the whole point of this part. And basically, now we're just moving on to the next part of this. Okay, so now I'm going to play from the middle section up to the part we need to learn. So, we're up to here. Now, this is going to be slightly more difficult. It's going to be slightly more difficult in the fact of, you're basically playing this, except now you're playing it down here with different notes. So now, instead of going A flat, G, D, you're going to start off D sharp, and then it's going to be C, and then you're going to G. So it's, instead of, it's, so it kind of follows the same tune as right up here, except now you're playing it here. Which, that's a nice chord. But anyways, now you're playing G sharp, C, and then G. And then you move to D sharp, and then it's C, and then it's G flat, or if you want to call it F sharp, I call it depending on which note I just left from. And then after that you get this. And then you just drop one more key, just like we did over here. And that will bring you down to F. And then you simply jump up to E flat, and then back down to F. So it's D sharp, C, G, D sharp, C, G flat, D sharp, C, G, and then it's E flat, F. And then you can repeat it like I do. Or you can just do. And then, we're actually, I'm not doing a jump cut here because of the fact of, we're just repeating this part again after that. So now you know this whole section. From just the 3 lessons I taught you, you know all 4 parts of this section. Because this part, if it sounds familiar, that's because we did it immediately after this too. So now, you know from here, to here. Now, we know up to this note right here. But, now it's just a jump cut to where we start doing the chorus again. And this is the easiest part to remember because it's just simply G, and then you move up to A sharp, and then you move up to C, and then you just do the little riff I taught you at the beginning again, which is, this time you're starting off with E flat for sure, and then you're going to D. So we know this part after this. So the only part we gotta learn now is just transitioning to this, which is simply just G, A sharp, C, and then we're up to our riff that starts on E flat. And that's pretty much it for if you only want to learn the right hand, which is the main part of the song. And if you want to impress your friends, you already know most of the song. But now I'm going to teach you how to do the stuff I added in. Anyways, simply, all we're doing is we're just adding stuff on to what we've already done. So, up to here. It's all the same. Except now, when we do this part, wait a second, there's something new there. That's because now I'm hitting D down here 3 times after I hit D here. So it goes, now you're playing the same thing, A sharp, G, D. And now you're hitting D 3 times down here. So it's pretty much the same thing we did. Don't worry, nothing's changing. We're just adding this. And then we're doing the same thing when we hit C sharp. What do you know? Same thing. Oh, and it's the same thing with F. Now, what are we going to do after this? Well, now I'm actually going to repeat the D sharp to E to F. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm better at playing it fast, but you get the idea. So once you get that down, it's pretty much the same thing from here on out. Which you can change the speed, you can have it go the same speed I taught you, or you can speed it up, that's up to you. But now we're going to move on to this part. Sound familiar? That's because it is. Because now, we're just doing the same thing I did with, except we're now doing it down here, sort of like when I taught you how to play down here. Now, instead of hitting D, we're hitting G. And then we're going up to D, G flat. And then we're going down to F. And we're just repeating the D. Oh, I'm sorry. When I said it was, I meant A sharp to C back there. I'm sorry, that was my bad. So over here, that's actually A sharp to C. That's my bad. Don't play the D sharp to F because that's this part. I'm sorry. That was my mistake. I might have to edit those if I remember. But if I don't remember, then well. It's basically that same thing, but down here, it's that type of aspect to it. I know I accidentally said D sharp to F back there, but it was actually supposed to be A sharp to C. Just remember that. Just scribble the D sharp to F back there in your notes and move it over to here, because it's going to fit here rather than back there. Again, my bad. Sorry. But now, once we do that, it's just this part again. And then, what do you know? Oh, that's new. What did I do there? I'm actually just playing the same thing we were playing here. Except now I'm playing it with two hands. So I'm playing the same song, both hands. It's kind of like if I were to just press up on my keyboard and go to octave piano. That's all we're doing. So it's literally the same thing, and then you can add on to, now that you know all the parts, now that you know everything that I can do, you can do like I like to do and just... Oh wait, I like to do this. I like to add that in. You don't have to. I mean, you can just play what I've already taught you, and you have almost basically the whole song that I know already done for you. But if you want to add stuff in, now you can, because now you know how to play Mission Impossible. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see all you guys in the next video. This is Jack Dangerous, signing off.